Fellow humans, and welcome to this video. And update 7.3 is finally here after a long time and a lot of delays, and it also brings with it the Kranvagn. Also, if you're watching this video on the day of the release, I will stream this tank later, so if you're interested to see more of it, just join into my stream. And if you're watching it on any other day, I'm streaming pretty much every day, so let's go. Anyway, this is about the Kranvagn today, and let's look at the tank first. Go through the statistics real quick, and then see how it plays. Let's get into a training room, let's see the mobility and all that kind of stuff, and then let's play it in an actual battle. So first of all, what we can see, the dispersion, pretty average, so it is not that bad. Then, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is, man. I have no damn clue what the fuck this is. Seriously, Wargaming, 2000 DPM on a T10 heavy tank. What? Okay then. So, it is an auto reloader, and the reload time between shots is 3.5, which is the worst. It's worse than Progetto, it's worse than the T57, and it is worse than the MX50B. Then, we look at the reload time, and we can already see something really odd right here. The first shell takes 11 seconds. Well, the second shell takes 8.7, and the third 9.1. So, ideally, to get this tank to the highest DPM possible, you always fire the first shot, and then stop this one from reloading, so you always fire the second shell. So then you have the highest DPM, which is quite weird. Penetration is very good for heavy tanks, average 400 alpha damage gun, right there. You only have 9 degrees of gun depression, which sounds not that bad, but for a Swedish tank it very, very much is, because in World of Tanks PC this thing has 12 degrees of gun depression. Then we have the turret armor, which is quite insane, which is the main feature of this vehicle, 225mm at the front, which produces about, I think, 330 realistic without using the gun depression, so you pretty much can't pen the turret. You can't pen the turret. The hull armor, not that good. And then the mobility, it's bad. Like, the mobility of this tank is just horrible. 14 power to weight ratio. The turn rate's okay at 32. It's not too bad, but it's also nothing special. And as you can see, you only go 30 forward. The average speed is only 28. And it just doesn't go as well. Because, for example, if we look at, let's say, a 215B, which has sort of the same mobility, you see the power to weight ratio is a lot better, and it turns it turns 10 degrees faster. So the mobility of the Kranvagn is just absolutely horrible. So I don't know what Wargaming was thinking. This tank doesn't look that good so far. Look at this tank in battle, or in a training room first of all. This is what you always should do when you have a new tank, because when you have a new tank, you don't know how it works, you shouldn't directly jump into a battle. You should always check it out in a training room and see how that one goes. Now, already we can see that the mobility is very, very sluggish. It's very... well, it's like driving through a puddle of honey instead of a very quick tank that only weighs 44 tons, which isn't that heavy. It's also a very small tank, so it's hard to hit. But as you can see, it takes a long, long time to reload. The T57 is already loaded by now, but the Kranvagn is still loading, it's still driving to the position. 20 kilometers an hour up this slope. That is just... that's mouse level speed right here. Okay, now when we get to a position like this, we can play the turret armor quite well. The upper plate is also very well sloped, so you can bounce a lot off it. However, the lower plate and the sides are weak spots, so you should have to always watch out for that. So the gun depression is sufficient enough to peak angles like this, but obviously it could be better. So yeah, that doesn't look too bad. But now, let's fire the first shot. Now we have to wait 3.5 seconds. And then the next shot reloads. That, like, why did you do that, Wargaming? A T125 has 8 seconds reload. 8.5 seconds. This vehicle has a reload of 11 seconds for the shot. Why, Wargaming? Why? Like, sure, it's an auto reloader, and it shouldn't have as much DPM as like an Object 140 or something like that. It's not out of the picture. But why does it have 2000 DPM? It can't even kill itself in a minute. What the hell? And also with this absolutely abysmal mobility, doesn't look too good so far. But let's go into real battle and let's find out if I have to eat my words or if I'm correct. So now we're here in the battle, and it took a long time to load because, yes, also there is 2 Kranvagns on every team, so this tank seems to be very, very popular at the beginning. But already, as you can see, I loaded into the battle quite late, but let's try and get up the hill nonetheless. Now, this tank takes about 30 seconds to reload the entire magazine, which is about 1200 damage, which explains why the DPM is only 2001. The 1 is very important because 1 DPM is the difference between killing a 1 HP tank and not. So that 1 HP is very, very important. Now we can see it is very sluggish, it's very slow. The gun oppression is great, 9 degrees, that is not bad. For Blitz, obviously it could be better, it is a lot better in World of Tanks PC. So I don't know what to think of this, but so far the 9 degrees seem to work quite well. This is where the Kranvagn will excel. This is where the Kranvagn can do well. On a ridgeline like this, where you can just sit, use your turret armor. I already talked about it earlier. This is the main feature of this tank. That is the turret armor. It's not about the mobility, it's not about the DPM, it's about the turret armor. That's what you have to do with this tank. So I wouldn't ever recommend a newer player to play this tank at all, because it doesn't look too good. Like, DPM is bad. Ideally, you want to have a lot of shots, because the more shots you get, the more mistakes you can allow yourself. You can't do that in this tank. If you miss 1 shot, you're down to 1600 DPM. That's like tier 5 levels. So you don't really want to do that to yourself. But yeah, now the IS-8's pushing forward. I know that the Kranvagn's over there, but I think I can try to maybe unload. No, I can't. Why did my keys not work? Okay, that was... okay. By the way, I'm using the Windows version right here because Steam decided to be a dick and not let me update the game. So, my keys are fucked up. So anyway, and we're here. We got horrible, horrible reload, as you can see. It's very, very hard to chop down anyone, but so far we're doing quite well. We still have the majority of our HP. Now the biggest problem is the E50 over there. I could jump on this Kranvagn right now if the E50 wouldn't be there, but I can cross here, take out the Kranvagn, and go for it like this. Maybe if it don't lag out. There's my keys are all fucked up. Got hotkeys on my mouse for the equipment and stuff, and it doesn't work on Windows. Thanks for that, or gaming, or rather Steam. Okay, now we got. Can we get the 50? Maybe he's trying to run. Shot on the turrets. Low roll. But yeah, we should be able to do this quite well. Here we go. So that was a pretty good game for the Kranvagn right there. Nobody really contested me. I didn't need any DPM there. I could just use the turret armor and hold the position, you know. But if you get into a fight where you guys have like a lot of enemies around you, you're gonna do really, really badly because you don't have DPM. And you can't get away too fast either because your top speed's 30. Like, I don't mind the tank being rather sluggish, but why is it 30? At least give it 35. At least give the tank 35, because then it is on par with the 57, and that'll do quite well. Now that's 3000 damage right here. Our Kraken player here did a little bit more, but anyway, the enemy Kranvagns didn't do that well. But as you can see, when you're a competent player, and when you know how to make up for the absolutely horrible DPM that this tank has, you'll do quite well. And if you equip it right, like if you put in the vents, and you have to put in the engine accelerator and stuff like that, if you put those in right, like basically just standard equipment. I went for the enhanced armor, so that the turret is stronger, because I already put on the sandbag armor to make up for that. So I have 2600 HP, and that's completely enough. You could boost the DPM a little bit, but it only boosts it by 20, so it doesn't really matter too much. But anyway, that's a nice, solid first game for the Kranvagn. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. There's a lot of Kranvagns out there, I can see. Let's hope that the queue time doesn't take me another 2 minutes like it did last time. So, see you in battle. Alright, now we're back. This time didn't take as long, and didn't take as long to load, so here we're back. And our Kraken-S friend, the Kranvagn, is also back, this time in the enemy team. So yeah, obviously with the Kranvagn you go up the hill. With this tank, you have to use ridgelines. You have to use them. You have no chance to make anything of this tank if you don't use your ridgelines. Like, the DPM is abysmal, the speed's abysmal. You have to use your ridgelines well. And because the side armor is weak, and the front armor is quite well angled, but it's not the thickest. And we got our gold noob player right there in the MX-30B. Okay. That's nice. 8, nice 7 out there. Okay, we are gonna have to do a lot of work. Because we have 5 versus 7 up here. The gun elevation is quite solid, but it works. So we gotta really do a good job here, because we're already down 1 player. They have already lost 1, 2, but we have a Horri and an E75 that are currently not in the battle, and we're gonna lose the E50M quite soon. Okay, what are we gonna do? We have 4 here. We have the Object 268. We know he's there. We have the I-7 that's over there. Okay, let's help out the E75. Well, help is in the broadest term possible, because this tank's very slow. I don't know why the person called this tank OP. It is certainly not OP. It is not OP at all. That's 2000 DPM. How's that OP, mate? Okay. Just because you can't pen the turret doesn't mean it's OP. Anyway. I mean, sure, if it had, like, 3200 DPM... Oh, well, I'd give it 3300 DPM, so it comes on par with, like, a VK... 72, but certainly it is not horrible, but you have to get yourself in cover a lot of times, because if I'm like here, I can't fight this guy. He has more DPM, he has more armor, he has also more mobility, which is like kind of weird, because considering the I-7 is pretty much the worst T10 heavy that you can get yourself your hands to, the second worst after the VK. So yeah. The DPM's horrible, but if you know how to play this tank, you're gonna have a good time. Probably. Hey! I don't like that. Fuck, my keys don't work. My keys still don't work! Fuck this. I'm too dumb. Anyway, that's the problem. Thank you for that, Steve. Okay. This guy, I think I can kill him now. Yeah, he's 700. Don't you dare not penetrate. There we go. Perfect. And now we gotta hope that the object doesn't push me, because I'm a one-shot. So, yeah, he does push me, obviously. And he just shot heat for no reason. Well done. And the Kranvagn bounced off my ass. Am I getting luckier? Is this tank better than I thought? It's one of those two. Anyway, let's hide in the corner. It's the Kraken Kranvagn, so we're probably not gonna do too well. Okay, we have a Kranvagn and a Horri. Thing is, I can't peek out forward, because if I go forward, then this Kranvagn can kill me. So, yeah, that's not very ideal, is it? And this guy's not going to push, because the Horri's watching him. We used to watch him. I don't know. Just going to have to... Oh, shit, yeah, okay. Kudos to the Kranvagn. Well played. Let's see what we got. 2600, first class. Not bad. And he got 4000. Just got him a 3rd class. Nice. Okay, let's go for this one more time. Alright, and let's get into the 3rd battle for the Kranvagn, and probably also the last. I'm playing these in a row. No cheating. You can check my account. This time we have a Loka player on the enemy team. Wow, we're getting a lot of good opposition right here. So, yeah, the tank's out for an hour. Everyone has it, because everyone had time to save up free XP, because it's been like, what, 5 months since the last hit 10. So, yeah. But as we already established, this tank is not bad. I'm not gonna call it good. It's not bad either. It has amazing armor. Like, the front armor, turret armor, absolutely excellent. Side armor, horrible. DPM, horrible. Mobility, blah. That's what I'm gonna call it. Blah. I think that's the best way to call it. Like, it's not mouse type of level, but it's more like 2 and 5B level mobility. But if I unload like this, I did 1300 damage, but the problem now is I have to wait almost 40 seconds to get all my shells back. Which I can do, because I'm in safety, but in a heated environment, you know, when I'm in a 1vx situation, for example, I couldn't do this. So that's where the Kranvagn really struggles, when it's up against multiple opponents. because it can't get away from anyone and it can't like sustain itself by DPM. Like if you're in an Object 140 or a T-62A, you can just use the DPM and the mobility to get yourself into an advantageous position and get yourself out of there. But in the Kranvagn you can't do that. You're pretty much locked to one position, and in that position you can't really do too much damage. So let's see what we can do now from here. We have 2 Kranvagns in the enemy team, so 2 very, very competent Kranvagns. That obviously inflates the early statistics of the vehicle a lot. Like when there's only good players out there, like local players and to a degree me, then that inflates the quality of the tank, because good players are obviously going to play the tank well. So you can't just say this tank's OP just because OP players play it. Now let's try and get on into 62A. He shoots me, now he's bullying back. If you're in a flat terrain like this, Kranvagn has a horrible disadvantage right here. I'm gonna wait for the shell and bounce it off. So that's the thing. If you in the auto reloader, if you can wait for the shell to reload, you should wait, because that's gonna give you extra DPM. Because if you fire before the shell's in, the DPM's just gonna go down again. TPM's just gonna go down again. You're gonna end up with like 1500 DPM in the end, and that's just not really it. No, okay, now I'm pretty much the front right here, and I can't push forward because that Kranvagn's in front of me. He has 360mm third armor at a flat surface, so the turret is impenetrable. What I have to do here is basically play out the armor and try and isolate them on these guys over there and kill the... Oh shit, yeah, okay, he knows that I just shot twice. He can poke out. Now I've got to go back and hope for team support right here. And yeah, he knows that I'm no. Fuck. This is just what I was talking about. This is where the Kranvagn does struggle. It doesn't have the DPM to sustain itself. Okay. Now I want to kill the bat shat, but obviously the T-62A that just peeks up now. And I have a okay. They're all in front of me now. Okay, good. Okay, I gotta play this very smart. I don't have the DPM. I have 3 shells now. 3 shells. That's very good. 62A, if the 62A push me, let's try and track him. And let's try and pull back so he can't shoot me. Let's try and get another one into him. And now let's save it. Never mind, let's not save it. Let's kill him. There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. If you're a good player, then you're gonna do pretty well with this tank, because it has good armor. It's easy to play against noobs because you can vary your fire. You can single shot, you can double shot, you can even triple shot, but you shouldn't go for that unless it's an emergency. So when you're a good player, you can vary this, but I would not recommend this tank for new players at all. Like, just don't get this tank when you're a new player, because it is a nightmare to play when you don't know how to play. I'm gonna get myself down there, and that's 4,100, and that is it. There we go. Perfect team play. Shout out to the Grill and the Sheridan. Well done. I couldn't have not survived that without them. And that is an ace tanker in the Kranvagn as the last game. That's quite good. I like that. 4,300 damage. Also, thanks to these two for keeping my ass away from these two. Yeah, who's the good player now, bitches? Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. The Kranvagn is a nice tank. It's not overpowered. It's not bad. It has horrible DPM, has horrible mobility. But if you know how to use it, it's gonna be great for you. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.